Okay, starting with introduction. What is open intelligence? Stop thinking just for a moment. What remains? The alertness and clarity, natural presence, openness, the power to know, and spacious open intelligence. But sometimes it's easier to recognize that when we stop thinking for a moment, but then obviously as we all know, our thoughts appear again, and in open intelligence is naturally present in thoughts and without thoughts. That's clear. That's the full introduction, obviously shows us and introduces us to something about us that is always present. It doesn't go away when we are thinking or when we are feeling, and it's all inseparable from all these data. Open intelligence and data inseparable. And okay, we'll go here through these two choices, this most important choice, like these two approaches in the use of our mind. The first approach is that we focus on our thoughts and emotions, and all the descriptions make a whole story around them. Think about why we are thinking that, why we are feeling this, and are totally involved in our descriptions. Or we take the choice to take a short moment to recognize open intelligence. The focus is placed on the nature of mind and recognize everything that appears as open intelligence as energy. And allowing for this kind of recognition to be instinctive. And with the short moments when we plant open intelligence seeds, an unending field of open intelligence will grow. And if you plant data naming seeds, ceaseless fields of data will grow. So that kind of highlights the results of the choice we are taking. So either we recognize open intelligence in the midst of everything without denying anything that is appearing, but an unending field of open intelligence will grow. The confidence in open intelligence, the recognition of open intelligence will be more and more obvious. Or we focus on the data naming, and then obviously the whole field is a data naming field. I really like that kind of metaphor, makes very clear. And so the roller coaster ride of ups and downs, if we focus on the descriptions, there's always an up and down. There's always a positive and negative, always good and bad, more special, less special, more profound, less profound kind of descriptions of everything we are experiencing. So we ride that roller coaster ride in whatever way we describe the data that we are describing. Each one has different ways of describing everything. But we get to know clearly what are the ways we are describing our descriptions. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter what the ways are we are describing. We need to recognize what is at the basis, what is all the dynamic energy that is inseparable from open intelligence. And yeah, so all thoughts and emotions are recognized as the dynamic energy of open intelligence. And that instinctive recognition of open intelligence and data, open intelligence and all thoughts and emotions are inseparable, like the color blue in the sky, like the breeze in the air. They're inseparable. We cannot separate out any kind of data from open intelligence. Yeah, there is no open intelligence without data. So we really get that more and more. Even though intellectually it's one thing, but instinctively is another thing. Basically, we know that we can always rely on open intelligence no matter what we feel and think just right now. It's open intelligence. So short moments of open intelligence are necessary so that we can begin to experience really understand what open intelligence is all about. So yeah, there's some kind of short moments that we can take whenever we remember to do so, and then we experience directly what open intelligence is in our direct experience in the midst of daily life. In brief moments of uncontrived open intelligence, we begin to see that open intelligence is the basis of all data, seamlessly blended with data, like sky is seamlessly blended with blue, or sunlight, or like sunlight and daylight. So the uncontrived open intelligence in short moments, we allow for that to be just uncontrived, effortless, without it being a thing, without needing to change anything about what we are feeling, thinking, experiencing, just what is. And we allow it to be as it is. And in that, there's a more obviousness of open intelligence. So that's why the brief moments, the short moments, are like the key for this uncontrived open intelligence. And maybe
There is no need to indulge, renounce, transform, refine, or analyze data. Simply let each data stream flow on by. Nothing need be done about the data. The only reality of data is open intelligence. Data shine forth within open intelligence like rays of the sun shine within the sun. Yeah, we spoke a bit about that or had beautiful shares about that in one of our meetups last week about like letting data be as it is. Sounds like we might have heard that in other practices and approaches as well, but the recognition of open intelligence is what allows us to do that because we see that the essence of our being is unaffected by whatever appears. And that's why we can indeed allow it to just be as it is. We can allow all the data streams, the energies flow through us and recognize that our fundamental nature doesn't change. And so from that confidence and from that recognition comes the confidence we indeed don't have to transform, manage, refine, analyze data, or change them in any way. We can truly let it be as it is and rest in uncontrived open intelligence. Short moments of uncontrived open intelligence launch continuous, unending open intelligence. Initially, open intelligence may be momentary and occasional. However, by the power of short moments, open intelligence grows increasingly obvious. Its spontaneous presence is increasingly obvious. So we don't make open intelligence continuous. It's already continuous. It's already at the basis of our being at all times. We we don't need to get it and we can't get rid of it. It's what's hearing, what's listening, what's seeing, what's looking, what's thinking, what's aware. It's in these short moments that we become aware of that itself and take a moment to rest as that. And the more often we tap into it in this uncontrived way, not holding to it a short moment so that we're not making it into a thing. We're not looking for a particular experience or result. We just touch in and recognize that this moment, just as it is complete. Open intelligence has always been present. We just didn't notice it. Short moments of uncontrived open intelligence are the means to inexhaustibly expand open intelligence within all data. Otherwise, there is a great danger of enforcing some kind of special people that have open intelligence and excluding others that do not. It's powerful to see ourselves as open intelligence, inseparable from the particular data set that makes each of us unique on the appearance. Nobody looks like another. Nobody thinks like another. Nobody feels and senses like another. So we're entirely unique in that way in the contents of data. But at the heart, this open intelligence presence, the natural presence of open intelligence, the heart of love, is present in and as everybody. So when we recognize that in ourselves, we also more and more see that that's true for everybody else. It's what's looking through their eyes is the same open intelligence that's looking through our eyes. Short moments of open intelligence are uncontrived, like a sunbeam suddenly warming our entire body. Yeah, nothing need be done, no effort is needed for that. If you just imagine that the sun is actually shining out there at the moment, it's very bright and warm compared, like in the morning, there was a lot of fog. So now to just sit in the sun and feel that nothing need be done, that sunbeam is indeed suddenly warming the entire body. In short moments of open intelligence, you go directly to warm-hearted open intelligence spontaneously, just for an instant at first. So it's just these short moments of tapping in. Open intelligence is potent and beneficial. In every moment, we recognize that. It's not just aware, there is also a potency, a power there. Do you want to continue there, Kati? Uh, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to move something so I can read it. Okay. You rely on a short moment here and there, and by this simple, profound action, a radical openness takes place. A radical openness emerging as the essence of life and as reality itself. You are simply introduced to yourself. The open, spontaneously present, indivisible, carefree quality of open intelligence begins to pervade all of life. So that's beautiful to read, just that direct recognition, just taking a short moment here and there, where this simple and profound action, this openness to everything as it is, to life itself, to our own being as we are. So we're introduced to ourselves, to our authentic self, to really getting to know ourselves as we are, with everything we could describe about ourselves. But it's like this being ourselves with inseparable from everything we could describe, and recognizing these qualities of open, spontaneously present, indivisible, carefree, responsive to time, place, and circumstance. And that all is opens up in the confidence of open intelligence, and begins to pervade all of life, just all of our relationships. And those who are going through the empowerments, and some of you are recognizing that in yeah, how it just opens up all aspects of life in a very practical way. And maybe we'll pause here even right now, so we have time for shares and questions. Great. And
I see somebody joined. Welcome to, I don't know, is it Luca? We can't see you. The video seems to be on, but we can't see you. But welcome.
Can I come in, please?
yes, you want to share your experience, Mark?
Yeah, certainly. Do you know when I first started the empowerment? It'd be coming up to 4 months ago, yeah. And all this talk about resting, didn't understand it. Didn't understand how to experience it. Yeah.
Mm.
Whereas now, the change is incredible. For, for example, I went swimming yesterday, and then I was sitting in the sauna. There was about four of us in there, and We were talking about work and about football and just usual stuff, you know, just usual lad stuff. But now it's like it's like I'm resting now 24/7. It's like when I were in the sauna, direct the direct experience that was happening was that there was no longer four people in the sauna. In my experience that was happening here, there was only colour and sound. Yeah. Am I like sort of going off here? Because there was no one there. There was no people there. There was obviously the mind was saying that there were people that were talking, and that might be, you know, Simon, and that might be John, and this might be Paul or whatever. Yeah, these are labels, obviously. But in my direct experience, while I'm resting, so I'm resting. So now, so in like a millionth of a second, I'm moving from being a character in the movie to now watching the whole movie. So not only are the others are they characters in the movie, but also me, also the body. My apparent body is also a character in the movie. I am not in the body anymore. I'm watching it, and it's like also I went to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. I went to one yesterday when I come out of the swimming baths, and I went to one today, and they are fertile ground for resting because I'm sitting there and there's people speaking for 90 minutes non-stop. But in my experience, there's no one there. There's nobody in, there's no one separate there. There's just colour and sound in my direct experience.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you for sharing, Mark. May I say something?
You think I'm crazy?
No, not at all, not at all. But it will be powerful to take short moments. Continue.
See, you know, I'm thinking that they are short moments.
Yes, but there's nothing it. So
But
take further short moments to recognize, you know, like you have a very powerful experience. That's really, really powerful. Now, the only thing is to not put that into that's it. This is open intelligence, because that's an extreme.
yeah, saying
So,
that there's no people, you can't
yeah,
function in the world
yeah,
saying that there's no one here. That's a little bit wacky,
yeah,
and you might get locked up or
yeah.
something, you know. You know,
It,
maybe I was a bit extreme in the way I described it. All
yeah,
I'm saying is that in the experience, in that moment, there was only color and sound.
there's just openness. Yeah.
It was open and there was colour there, even though the sound was Stephen and Mary and Peter
Mm,
and you know blah blah blah. These, but what I found was when I shared
mm,
and I said my bit for a few minutes, it's like there was a freedom there that I'd never
mm,
felt before. It was no longer the contraction of, you know, when I share now, I've
mm,
had a stutter my whole life, so I'm always a little bit apprehensive about, you know, sharing because it's there's about 30 people in there,
mm,
and a lot of them are funny. They've been there for many, many years, so when they share, the whole room's laughing. So when you share, you don't want to be coming over all serious and tense and like you're falling apart. So it just helped me by resting that it's like there was a freedom there. It's
mm.
like the voice was speaking, but it was no longer felt like there was a me that had to control it and restrict it and be worried about whether it was going to stutter or not. It just flowed
Yes,
out. I
that's
mean,
beautiful.
it
Yeah.
always does actually, but it's like all I'm saying is that, and I don't want to share for, you know, because I know that there's a few more here. That it just seems like the more it's moving on, the more that I'm resting, whether I'm in the car, whether I'm swimming, whether I'm in the sauna, whether I'm at a meeting or wherever I am,
Mhm.
whether I'm cooking or whatever. Once you become the space instead of what the body is actually doing, it's like and you just Jochen said like months ago, because I said to him, how do I know when I'm resting? What are the signs? How do I know? How is it that I know that I'm not just staring into space? What are the signs? And he said there'll be a peace there and a clarity there. It'll just be there. And I'm sensing it now.
Mm.
It's like, there it is. I'm back home where I've never left.
Mm.
Where I've always been here. I've always been in the space, but I've always been focusing on the objects, focusing on things. The mind is focusing on the object. But when the mind slows down and slows down and slows down, it's like, here I am. And I've never not been here. That is the most beautiful thing about it. It's always been here, and it's always been me. It's what I am. It's just that the mind is focusing on the objects, the television, the meal, doing this. There's things that I still can't see, like the separate self. Where is the separate self? Where does he live in the body? How is he orchestrating the actions of the body? I still can't see that, but I'm going to let someone else share because I don't want to be banging on.
Well, thank you for sharing. Yep. Yeah, that's
You're welcome.
beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That ease and freedom. Yeah. Thank you. Well, that's good. And also welcome, Luca. Nice to see you there. Now we can see you. Hi. How did you hear about the teaching, if you like to?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
It's nice to join you. Actually, my friend recommended your group.
Great.
You hear me well, right?
Yes, hear you now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So short moments. So I downloaded the app. So before that, I was doing Dzogchen style of meditation, which also, I guess, it's similar thing when you look at your nature of mind during the day. So yeah, I like that concept because it is simple, and I hope that like your community and that the fact that you're sharing which each other would be like inspiration for me to do short moments more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, great. Thank you for sharing. It was nice to meet you. And
As
seems
well.
like you're testing out and already knowing what a short moment of open intelligence, nature of mind is. Yeah, or have a glimpse, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
to make that more obvious. Yeah, great. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Katya, I don't know if you saw Eliza also showed her hand.
Oh yeah, Eliza, great. I didn't see, so that's perfect.
Sorry, I didn't have that plastic hand thing on there.
Yeah, of
I was
course.
like, here I am.
The real hand is
The
perfect
real hand.
usually. Yeah.
I think that welcome. Hi, everybody. I don't know if we're supposed to talk directly to people, but welcome to the new guy. And Mark, is it Mark?
Yeah.
You just make me smile so much. Every time you share, I'm just laughing and smiling. You have the best energy and it's wonderful. So thank you so much for sharing. It just makes me laugh out loud. I don't know what it is, but I relate to you completely. I probably was going to say a very similar thing, but it's an interesting thing to be here with this. Uh, what is appearing as a new teaching, but just it's all the same teaching. in many ways. I realized that at one point, like the seeker is full and empty, you know, but then it was like, well, I'm still here, so I have to be learning. And then you guys appeared, which is beautiful. There's an ease here and an openness, and there's kind of um, a tender love that I can feel from you guys. The Kathy and Joaquin, I don't know how you say your name. Joaquin?
Jochen.
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 Joaquin.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I love about this is that almost every person is from a different place. And you couldn't plan that if you tried. Like everybody has a different, they're just, everybody's from a different place. But, you know, I've been thinking about this a lot, and it's like, it's nice to be in this place of where I don't feel like I'm doing something again, you know, because every time I thought I was doing something right, I was always probably just causing harm and being extremely extreme, intense by doing the right thing. And then when I think I'm doing the wrong thing and all of that, and it seems that right now it's just everything that I've learned before this point, up until this point, and then with you guys, calling it data seems to be a perfect word for now, you know, or currentness, data, it couldn't be a better word. Um, so I'm from Advaita Vedanta, and that's, you know, pure intelligence, and it's consciousness, and whatever arises within this space is just an arising. And this is similar to that. It's just an arising, it's data, and what it arises from is what I am. And I'm also the data. But in that way, I don't have to get involved in meddling with what's arising. Before, I was trying to understand, like, was I supposed to leave it alone? Is because it's not me, because I'm nothing. And it was very, and the world isn't here, and I'm not a person, and all of that. And it felt very it just took the heart out of it for me. It was like, I don't know. You know, it's good to share because I don't know what I'm saying right now. I think what happens is the thing that's constant is there's always a way that I'm trying to find meaning for this experience, this thing called life. So I'm always trying to find meaning. And within that meaning is essentially the data. And what is constant in that is that that is always changing. It's always changing. Like at some point it was called this, and at that point it was called this, but it's all the same thing. Now that I'm sitting back in this bigger space of what I am, everything just arises. And if it's indulged with, or how you guys use the words indulged, replaced, or
Avoid.
avoid,
Avoided is the third.
I'm totally fine with that. Like I'm totally fine with that. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I feel like, you know, I don't know what it is I'm doing and I'm not doing. And I like that. I like to sit back in this and just allow it to all kind of unfold as it has always unfolded. And I too went to a thing this weekend, and I had a similar experience as Mark did. But it was a funeral for a person who died in 2020, and their house was exactly the same, and all of their friends were there, and they were all celebrating this person that passed. And it was like a movie. And I don't want to sound like I'm being dissociative, but there's such a connection with allowing everything to be what it is, however that plays out, to where there was a bigger, I was bigger. I was bigger. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to be anything. But at the same time, nothing needed to be changed. But it was strange also. I really relate to what Mark said about that feeling of where everything, this too is the data, and being in the openness of it all. It just allows everything to be as it is, no matter how this actually is appearing right now. I can't, you know. So there's a lot more. I'm going to use words I used to use. I'm talking too long, but there's a lot more surrender and acceptance. And I guess that's enough. I don't want to take too much time either. So
No, it's good to hear from you, Eliza. I
you.
think what I'm here. I've been also when I was in India, I was in listening to different kinds of teachings and streams, or you could say presentations of teachings. And one of the things that I also noticed when I came, I remember that really well when I came to my first open meeting with Candace at the time, was just the warmth and naturalness of her being. Like there was just there was just no extreme in a way, like where like I'm not here or there are no people or there like everything is as, from my old perspective of psychology where that's all we see and then we keep working and digging and analyzing. And so I know you've also just started the empowerments and, in the empowerments, I find this like that inseparability of all of that and into a complete natural way of being that is really beautiful. And I love how you share about the warmth and the love. I've noticed it a couple times when you shared that you're loving the love that you experience here. And that is you. Like it's happening in and as you. So this experience of spaciousness and openness isn't one that is, just like almost like a stale or cold or like sober kind of just like awareness or space. There is also this warmth of love and connection and the yumminess of being a human being, and living through this experience, which is really beautiful. And there is no in empowerment too, there is a brief section about extremes. And basically, an extreme is whenever we make open intelligence into a thing or our experience into a thing, like that's what it should feel like. Like that there is no self or that there is clarity and there's all these because we're so used to make everything into a thing. Like, that's it, and that's how it needs to be. And then the empowerments are so skillful and always, and then on the bigger picture, Candace has been so skillful, Rinpoche, to always even change the language, so that you couldn't even make it like into awareness as a thing. Because then there was clarity, and then there is open intelligence, and then she speaks a lot about love. And so it's good to see that the only thing we always can go back to is our direct experience of really resting as that which can't be ultimately named or made into anything, but always be experienced in and as everything in every moment. So it's beautiful to hear you share, your experience and what you're finding and how that is landing for you. It's perfect that you share. Thank
You
you.
know, the moments thing is that's the other part of it. The next morning I didn't have to, I imagined like a puzzle pieces on a table of data and putting the past of this together with that piece now and this and trying to make a perfect picture of what was now. And that's what this is assisted in, leaving those puzzle pieces where they are. Like the data is just where it is. It doesn't have to put a thing that happened last night or 25 years ago together now. And so the moments now that are shared, if I was to describe what they're like is they're so in the moment through the practice of not indulging in stories afterwards. That practice has almost gone away, and it used to be very well groomed, trying to make sense of what happened a minute ago, and putting it with now. And it just doesn't, I just know not to do that now. So it makes the now more just experienced more fully. So thank you.
It's beautiful. It opens up so much spaciousness, freedom. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
So, okay. Yes, my name is very simple to pronounce because you all know the female singer from Iceland called Björk, and it's the exact way without a B. That's my name, Björk. Okay.
Great.
And yes, what I want to share. I'm a therapist, and I recognize that this experience of open intelligence is it's so difficult to explain. This embodiment of open intelligence is more or less always with me, also in the therapy sessions, and that I recognize that it somehow influences the atmosphere in the sessions also. In former times, I thought I have to explain somehow this enlightenment stuff because I'm on this way for several years now, and I wanted to explain it to some of my patients because, of course, I think it's the most important knowing or experience which will solve all the problems of my patients. And so I tried it sometimes with a little bit steering in this direction of did you hear about Buddha and so on. And now I don't put it directly as a theme into the therapies. I recognize I don't have to do that, but that somehow, not all, but for most of my patients, somehow the atmosphere is changing in the last, let's say, weeks or months. Since I found Candice, it changes more and more, and I feel more and more like I'm at home. Not only in the therapy sessions, but everywhere I feel at home. But in the sessions, really, it makes a difference since several, let's say, weeks or months. I really recognize this, and sometimes the patients also say at the end, "Oh, you are so quiet, and I feel much better." And from if you have recorded the session, you could think, "Oh, we didn't speak much in this session," but somehow it was transported or felt by patients that they feel somehow relieved or more free and more alive, and so and that happened often, very often in the last weeks. I'm very happy about it, and I don't have to do it like Candice always said, uncontrived. I don't have to make it. It has to be a holy session today or something. It's just as it is. and I'm very, very happy about this.
That's great.
Almost as a side effect, I don't approach it, and it has to be so. Yes, that's all I want to share about it.
Great, great. Thank you, Jörg. And what kind of
Yeah.
empowerment are you on, actually?
Number 7. I finished number 7.
Great. Great.
Yeah, and it's also very helpful. The empowerments are very helpful. Very good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for sharing, and I can totally see how that affects everything in an effortless way, especially with such therapy. Just your way of being.
Yes, absolutely.
For me, that of course totally shifted from being involved in therapy before I met Candice Rinpoche, doing that for a couple of years, then pausing probably 15 years in terms of therapy, and then picking it up again for a bit. But my main focus is this year, yet in certain contexts, and it completely shifted everything the way.
Yeah, so beautiful.
Yeah, I'll just keep it general because of course we could dive into details, but just this is an example of how open intelligence and one's own recognition has a profound impact on everything we do. Like now we're speaking about therapy, but it could be any area of life, any kind of way how we're using our talents and how we're interacting with people, and also how our talents and gifts, how they just like completely come forth in a completely new way. Same and new. And then obviously in relationship with people. So yeah. It's good. Well, thank you for sharing. It's nice to see you.
Yes, it's really like homecoming. The whole thing. Not all, I don't mean now in this case therapy sessions. I mean really like homecoming. This more and more realizing that there's nothing, and I'm not nothing but open intelligence. Really. Sometimes I'm a little bit in a conflict with the word open intelligence. It's just a kind of preference. I like more awareness, for example, but in this context here, I use open intelligence. So you know what I mean. Yes, and as Jochen said, it's very important to change the words for it, because no word completely gets it. Of course not.
That's really that's powerful. Yeah, and then we can have our preferences totally. Yeah, what works for oneself. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would want to ask something or share? Natalie, there was something. I just saw you before, but maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's appropriate, but when Mark was speaking, I was reminded the writings of the Heart Sutra and the Diamond Cutter Sutra. Maybe Mark knows that. These are foundational Buddhist texts about the nature of mind, the teachings of the Buddha himself about the nature of mind. And you see, there is no nose, no ears, no eyes, no all these things. It's very profound, and and impossible to understand with our mind, only with the wisdom, but it's the declaration of realization or these types of experience. So that's all I was thinking, that I don't know exactly the rules of this meetup, so I don't know.
Yes, yeah, well, perfect. Well, thank you for sharing. Well, we keep it, like we have a little bit of natural, like maybe referring or saying thank you for share and things like that. We do have like in calls that we hold, and we keep it a bit open in the meetups, but we do hold the space of allowing everyone to share from their own experience without any crosstalk or giving advice to each other. And that keeps it very safe and simple. We usually have also like a confidentiality statement, which we would have in all other calls, and we bring it up in meetups if we feel like it's going too far. We like, when somebody is grateful for a share, or maybe says, yeah, I feel the same, which sometimes is fine, but it's not necessary directly to refer, because each one has different nuances in their own experience. So sometimes, even though we feel the same, maybe the other person doesn't feel it was the same. So that's why we actually even support that, to not say that, because we can stand in our own experience. Often we feel like we need to have the same, but we don't actually. And it's also a very empowering circumstance that we actually really keep, even like if we have some advice, or we want to comment on something, or we want to. So it is a new experience, which we have found is a very good format for all the teachings we hold, and keep it also a safe space, that there's no crosstalk, no advice, no commenting on each other's share. We just keep it on our own, on a certain degree, like when there's a little pop-up of something, that's, we hold it here. But if it's like, it makes it safe, because then we can truly share openly. And we know nobody comments on it, or even tries to question or make it better with their share. Yeah? Because there's no better and worse or better experience, even though maybe it sounds like it, but there's not. So there's one's own expression of open intelligence is very unique. So that's what is supported. I'm using this opportunity not because I felt like now, it's just because you asked, and so it feels like nice now to bring it a little bit more up in the meetups, especially because we are kind of repeatedly meeting. So when we have new people, of course, we don't come in with, because it doesn't make sense for the first time, but it makes sense after a while, especially when we are more often together. Yeah, so yes. But I'll actually say something, and these formats support like gaining confidence in oneself, in open intelligence, and the safety. Yeah. But what you just said now, actually, it's very true. There's also these texts that the Rinpoche gives based on Longchen Pa's text, like, for example, Pure Space is one of them, where there is no time, there's no one, I don't remember actually right now, but it has a preamble, which is really very powerful, because if you read this, it can be completely out of, like you said, the normal mind makes it into something that it is not. And that preamble says that you need a teacher to understand that, right? I'm quite sure that those kinds of texts actually share it in some ways or another as well. Because otherwise we can't experience and know what means that something is not and not. It's only in that something is not and not, that it's really truly experienced. I'm not saying it to you, just saying it generally, because that kind of recognition of, yeah, the form is emptiness and emptiness is form, that to realize that, I remember trying to understand that in the Dalai Lama teachings before we've met Rinpoche. Jochen and I, we tried to like get our head around form is emptiness and emptiness is form. And now, when you know the recognition of the inseparability and instinctively, you know exactly what it means, right? And we know exactly what it means. There's no eyes, no heart, no heart, no, but they are still the heart sutras, right?
Yeah, it's
Rinpoche,
wonderful.
oh, please, yes, Natalie.
No, it's wonderful. I was just saying it's wonderful.
You know, Rinpoche one time said that story with the vulture. Where does it come from? Jochen, you
Oh.
sometimes. Oh yeah, the tip, like
She said I think Rinpoche was like her teacher, like Wangda Rinpoche was asked about the mind and the heart. And then he said, you know, like you in the West always talk about the mind, meaning the brain. And we in Tibet, we always speak about the heart. And then he goes on to say, in Tibet, when somebody dies, because the ground is so, it's usually frozen, we can't bury people, so we chop them up and bring them to where the buzzards or the vultures come. And the vultures don't care about whether it's the mind or the heart. They eat it all up. So wanting to say like it's all the same to the vulture or to the buzzard. I don't remember if it was vultures or buzzards. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Well, we're almost at the end, but maybe that's also a good way to pause for today. Thank you, everyone. It was good to be together. We'll meet here. Yeah, I'll say it also maybe for the ones who don't know yet. Tuesdays at 9 a.m. PT, and that's 3 hours earlier than this one today. And Wednesdays 3 hours later than this one today. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you soon again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Good to see you.
See you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.